Thankfully, we've started a new year and we can start fresh after a very tough 2020. In today's podcast, Richard and I talk about 3 new resolutions that you could adopt that will help you become a better frontline fundraiser and find real joy in your work. Let's learn from the past year, but then let's move forward together in hope of a great year professionally and personally.
Welcome to the Nothing But Major Gifts podcast from Veritas Group, featuring Richard Perry and Jeff Schreifels. Twice a month, we bring you the latest and best thinking about major gift fundraising, so you can develop authentic relationships with your major donors. Here are your hosts, Richard and Jeff.
Welcome to the podcast today, and Happy New Year. I have Richard Perry with me, and gosh, it sure feels good to say goodbye to 2020, doesn't it, Richard?
Oh, my goodness, Jeff. I tell you, 2020, what a year that, I mean, we're not ever going to forget it.
No.
And, we're still living in the throes of this pandemic and the election and all that stuff. But I think more than anything else, that we have a start of a new year, and there's more hope for this new year in 2021.
You know what? I agree. For me, a new year always inspires hope, but this year is even more so after coming off of a 2020 that was in many ways everyone will always go, remember 2020?
Oh, it's horrific. I'm telling you.
But another thing I love about a new year is that it gives us a chance to think about some resolutions that we want to set for the upcoming year.
Yep.
So you, Richard, and I, we got together and we were thinking, okay, what are some good resolutions that you listening here today could have as a frontline fundraiser, manager, or leader at your nonprofit? We came up with 6 of them, but we want to talk to you about 3 of them today that we're going to cover. And then our next podcast, we'll cover the other 3 so that we'll do all of this in January. It's kind of like the launch of 2021.
I know. That's great. So let's get into this, Jeff. We think, a great way to kick off 2021 is to resolve to love your work.
Yes.
Love your work.
Yes. Absolutely.
There's Uri Geller writes, do what you love. When you love your work, you become the best worker in the world. What a great statement.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
And, you and I have been so fortunate to essentially always get to love what we do. And that's such a gift.
It really is.
The key is, this is hard work, right? This working in mid-major plan giving on the front lines, or in a manager role or a leader of a nonprofit trying to oversee all of this work. It's not easy.
Oh, it's not. And I think people just think, well, it's like, just go out there and we'll raise the money. No, it is really hard work. Goodness.
So if it's so tough, if you don't love what you do, it's like almost unbearable.
I know. Here's the other thing, to be in this role.
Yeah.
In mid-major and plan gifts, you really do have to be genuine and trustworthy and truthful with the donor. And now, here's the thing: how can you do that if you don't love your work? I
don't know. You can't.
You can't.
And you think a donor will see right through that. If you don't love what you're doing, and here you are trying to convey some program or project to the mission, about the mission of your organization, they're going to see right through you.
Oh, they are. And actually donors, they have radar like you wouldn't believe in terms of sensing all of that kind of thing, which is why if you're not genuine and trustworthy and truthful, it's going to actually hurt the objective that you seek. So, got to love your work in order for to get along well with the donor. But here's another thing. Maybe you love your work, but you're not quite on board, or you don't really love the mission of the organization. What should you do then?
I mean, I think you have to leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why this is a good time to kind of take stock in all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Here you are. You love being a major gift officer. You love the work with donors, but you're just not feeling the mission. Like you're not in tune with that mission.
Right. Right.
How can you convey that to a donor? A donor's going to see through that as well. So
I know you've got to love the mission and be with it. I mean, you really do.
And,
Go ahead.
Well, some people might say, well, is this really the year? I can't leave my job. I got to hunker down. And I say, no, this is the year to really start looking at, if you don't love your job, what do I love? Doesn't mean you have to leave right away. It just means this is the year to figure that out.
Well, I know exactly. Like maybe the work or this mission is not for you. I mean, and that's okay. It's really okay.
Yeah.
So find something that brings you joy. I mean,
that's right.
That's the thing you got to do.
Yeah. Because that's the other thing. You might not even, you're right. I mean, you might not even like this work. There are many MGOs we've talked to that say, this is just not for me, but they're staying in the job because, they got to put food on the table.
Yeah. And that's
over the long term, that just can't be sustainable.
Yeah. And we're reasonable and practical about that, Jeff. But what we're basically saying is really kind of at this time of the new year, look at what you're doing. And if it comes up like, well, this just isn't quite right for me, then do something else. Really find something else that brings you joy. That's what's important.
It is, because that will sustain you. I mean, this Thanksgiving, I was sitting around the table and we had a very small table this year, but we went around and talked about what are we grateful for?
Mm-hmm.
And among the other things of my family, my kids and my wife, is I talked about my job and the work that we get to do at Veritas. And I went on and talked about why it brought me so much joy. Mm-hmm. And two of the people that they were just like, wow, I have never heard anyone talk about their job with so much passion that you have. Mm-hmm. And it made me think, gosh, I just think about it like that all the time.
I know.
But other people hearing me were like, wow, I wish I had that. And that is the kind of passion we need to have for this job. As a frontline fundraiser, if you don't have that kind of passion, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to help a donor find joy in their giving.
And here's the thing, Jeff, is sometimes what we really find joy in and really love might not match the image we want to set with our peers, with our family and other people. And so we stay in something that provides it's actually false standing, but it provides standing and that kind of thing. But it doesn't fill your heart. So, I mean, what we're trying to say here is if it doesn't fill your heart up and it doesn't bring you joy, then now's a good time to look at it. And of course, as Jeff said earlier, it's like, don't be doing something crazy. Of course, you won't.
Right.
Got to be practical about income and all that stuff, but have a longer term goal during this year to really find your place. That's what we're saying. Yeah.
All right. So that first resolution, okay, that's a great way to start.
It is.
Love your work. I think a great second resolution for 2021 should be serve your donor, don't sell them. In other words,
that's a good one.
Look at your donor as a true partner and figure out who they really are so you can serve them well and gain their trust.
Wow. This is so important, Jeff, because this is part of the frontline fundraisers work that, it's going to set them apart from other fundraisers.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard far too many MGOs, and you've heard it too, who tell us stories about how they got that big gift or how they ended up making their revenue goals, because at the end of the year, one of their donors gave a surprise, 6 or 7 figure gift.
Yeah.
And they get all puffed up about it.
Yeah. Hey, I made my goal. This one person gave me this big, huge gift and I got through it.
Yeah, but what you and I want to hear is, how did the MGO actually serve their donor by really listening to them?
Yeah.
And understanding their passions and interests and inspiring them through the relationship in ways that their passions and interests can match what the organization's doing. I mean, that's what we want to hear. Now, obviously, we take great pleasure and joy in someone reaching their goals.
Yeah.
Well, of course we do. But what really kind of, turns our crank is when you hear this kind of story of like, boy, the donor really said some nice things to me about how I'm served well by them. That's so important.
Well, and it's so rare. I feel like, we're so busy cultivating and trying, and not really thinking about, okay, how can I take this to another level of service? Recently I had to go to an Apple store because I had something wrong with my computer. And so I go in there and I go to the desk. What is that, Genius Bar thing?
Yeah.
And, they're looking at it and they said, oh, yeah, I didn't have an appointment. So I'm like, can I get in? They're like, well, hold on here. Oh, yeah, we can get you in 15 minutes. Why don't you give me the computer? We'll get it set, look at it and, just walk around and, look at stuff. So I'm walking around and, I'm like wary because, they have those people all around.
Yeah.
And so, of course, one comes up to me and says, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, oh boy, here it comes.
Here comes the sell.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, they were like, so tell me, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, well, I own my own business with my business partner. We, help nonprofits. Oh, that's really cool. Like, and they start talking about nonprofits and all of this.
Right.
And going on and on. And then he said, well, what have you been looking at here? And I said, well, I've been wondering about the iPad versus like a Kindle, two different things, the Apple versus this Kindle thing. And he went on to talk about all the positive things about the Kindle that they don't even sell, of course, because it's not an Apple product.
Wow.
And, the pluses and minuses. And I was like blown away by this fact. And then there was nothing, he wasn't like saying, well, trying to sell me on anything. He was just explaining this to me.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, because I'm curious, I just said, well, how come you're not trying to sell me this thing? And he said, that's not what we do here. Yep. We want to give you the best experience walking that you can have. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I know. And I mean, that story fits perfectly into that second resolution, Jeff. Serve your donor, don't sell them. In the case of the Apple store, serve your customer, don't sell them.
Exactly.
That's exactly what was going on. So that's our second resolution for the year. Serve your donor, don't sell them.
Yeah, I know. Because serving your donor, it has to be the focus of the year. I know, and we know it's hard.
It's very hard.
But as a frontline fundraiser, there is so much pulling at you to do other things, right? And so, but to really make a difference with that donor and ultimately see your revenue grow, that has to be the priority.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, and so there's the big point. You're trying to see the revenue grow. Yeah. But you're not going to get there unless you serve the donor. In fact, we've always said, Jeff, that the two obligations of a major gift officer and a plan giving officer or a mid-level officer is to deliver net revenue to the organization. Yeah. And serve the passions and interests of donors. And the path to developing net revenue is serving the donor. Exactly. And that's sometimes counterintuitive. Okay. So we have two resolutions so far in 2021.
Yep.
Love your work and serve your donor. So I think, Jeff, the third resolution should be set goals.
Yes. We're big into this.
Yeah. And by setting goals, I think it would be good to break it out by, portfolio or caseload goals. Yeah. Professional goals. And personal goals. So let's talk about portfolio first. Okay. Yeah. So this is nothing new from us. No. But if you haven't done this yet, this is the year to do it. You got to set a revenue goal for every donor on your portfolio or your caseload. I mean, you don't worry about making the goal. Instead,
Right.
you figure out how to kind of get it or to attain it.
Right.
So here's the truth that we found over the years working with major gift officers. If you set a goal, more often than not, the goal will be reached. I mean, it's just going to happen. It just happens because why? Because you're focused on it.
Exactly. And, there's always pushback from MGOs. Like, do I really need to set a goal with every donor?
Mm-hmm.
And we say yes. And, it's not as difficult as they think it is.
No.
But now that you have it and you cash flow it through the year, so you know exactly when that is going to come in, it just gives you this, it gives you that vision for every donor, and you then develop strategies on how to get that goal, right? So having that goal, what we've found thousands of major gift officers that we've worked with,
right?
When you set a goal, almost all the time they make it.
Well, I mean, and the whole goal setting thing is true of all of life.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? It's like, but it's so funny how many people don't. They just set a goal for the entire caseload.
Right.
From all of these donors, it's going to be
10% more.
10% more.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a goal.
No.
That's just meeting some management objective for growth. It's not really a goal. You've not been thoughtful about it. So that this whole thing of setting goals, portfolio and caseload goals is very, very important.
Yeah. Okay, great. Now, what do you mean by setting professional goals?
Well, I mean, here's some questions you can ask yourself right now that will help you think about it. Like,
okay,
what kind of person do I want to be in my job this coming year? So it's like about you. What kind of person do I want to be?
Yeah,
in the job.
Right.
Or where do I want to be in my career next year at this time?
Exactly.
Does my job look different?
Yep.
During this year? Where do I want to be with my compensation?
Yeah.
This year. I mean, this new year.
Yeah.
Where do I need to be quarterly in order to make my yearly revenue goals?
Good.
Yep. So that ties to the first goal.
Right.
Or something like, what kind of influence do I want to have in my workplace
during
this
that.
new year? I mean, who do I want to be? What are my expectations? I mean, the big point is to figure out what you want and where you want to be, and decide, what is it I have to do to get there?
Yeah.
We just don't do that enough.
I know.
So we've got to work that out.
It's interesting because we don't do that because we're so busy with so many other things, the day to day, that we don't often step back. And this is why I think this is the time in January here to step back and take some time alone and think about these questions. And where do you want to be professionally? Where do you want to go? Like, if you're a major gift officer, where do you want to be next year or 2 or 3 years down the road? And then what do you need to do now to start that process to get you there?
Yeah. In fact, I just had a conversation last week with a major gift officer who basically said, to be honest, Richard, I really don't like doing this job. Well, I said, well, what do you like doing?
Yeah.
And well, I really like the whole stewardship of donors, talking back to them, helping them know that their gift made a difference. Yeah. And so we got into a conversation about that. This person then had a conversation with her manager, who was very open to changing the job in the new year to a more stewardship kind of job for planned giving, actually, is what it was. And that's the thing to do, is to not just stay in a place that's actually hurting your spirit, but to kind of move on.
Yeah.
So that's this whole thing about setting professional goals. And then, of course, there's the final part of goal setting, which is about your personal goals as a human being. Where are you going personally in your relationships? Yeah.
This is great.
Your family. Yeah. Your kids, if you have them, your friends. Who are you going to be with strangers? What attitudes do you need to clean up? I mean, I've actually, I don't want to talk about them on this podcast, but I've actually set some goals personally about, what are some biases I have that are just not acceptable. I mean, they're not terrible.
Yeah.
But they're just not acceptable. I don't want to be that kind of human being.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's where we got to do the personal goals as well as the professional.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it could be as simple as, I want to read 10 books this year.
I know.
Or commit to listening to a certain podcast or, working out more.
Yep.
Eating better.
Yep.
Getting more sleep. You told me that this year you're committing totally to working out more.
Yep.
And you told me, and that's the other part is that
accountability.
Once you do those, once you set goals or say goals, you want someone else to hold you accountable to it.
Right. Well, accountability is a big thing about goals. So in fact, you've brought up an interesting point, Jeff. In all of this goal setting, have someone outside yourself know what that is. Yeah. And then set about setting up an accountability system to actually make that happen.
That is absolutely crucial. Because you set these goals and then if no one else is, hey, well, how are you doing on these things? It's so easy to just, I just kind of let it go. And this is probably why most people who set resolutions at the beginning of the year never keep them because they don't have someone to keep them accountable.
I mean, accountability, I think people who know us well, Jeff, know that we just love accountability. We love it. And even between the two of us and our other partner, it's like we're very big on accountability. Okay, you said this. Have you done it?
Very simple.
It's very simple.
But powerful.
Powerful. It really is.
Okay, wow. This is good stuff. So just to recap, we've talked about 3 resolutions in this podcast, and we have 3 more in our next podcast in a couple of weeks. But for this one, we discussed love your work, serve your donors, and finally set goals for your portfolio, your career, and for you personally. This is a great way to start 2021.
I mean, it's the only way to start. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. So before we go, I want to let you know we have a free resource for you, and this fits great for the beginning of 2021. It's our marketing impact chart. This tool is great for helping you set goals for every donor in your portfolio.
Fantastic tool, I'm telling you. It'll be irritating, though.
But you can do it. Don't scare them away. Go to veritasgroup.com and in our download section, scroll down to the bottom and you can download this great tool for free.
Here's the thing, Jeff, on this tool.
Yeah.
Well, we can guarantee that if you use it like it's supposed to be used, you will experience more success in this new year than you did last year. You will.
Absolutely.
With your donors. You absolutely will, which is why we're so excited about it.
Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time with 3 more resolutions for you.
Thank you for joining us for the Nothing But Major Gifts podcast from Veritas Group. Richard and Jeff also write an ongoing blog that you can subscribe to for free at veritasgroup.com. Please join us again next time.